happening now. Now is the vibrate, of course. Not going too far in the future. Not going too far in the past. Right now I'm under this palm tree. Beautiful palm tree. Just finished getting a little meditation in at the park. But I want to speak on how to remember to remember to be careful with dealing with ancestors and dealing with past life regressions, or dealing with finding out different past lives of yourself and things of this nature, because ancestors and certain past lives could just like everything in this world, like all your relatives, you know how we say like, oh, just because it's blood don't mean people treat you good or this and that. Same thing in the astral planes, and same thing with your past lives, and two, I think to the situation where when they say like, when we transition and you got all they say go into the light, and then they got all your relatives like, oh yeah, come into the light. But that's more of a dysfunctional vibration. I say dysfunctional, but it's that part of your ancestors that's almost like a ghost trying to finish unearthly business, in essence. And two, so you got to be careful of that, because sometimes, like say for instance, dealing with ancestors, like on the beginning of my journey, like say for instance, if my certain chakras was off, or if I didn't balance my chakras properly, then when I would channel the ancestors, it like whatever chakra was off, they would speak in that type of manner. So like say for instance, if I had like a block in my heart chakra, the ancestors would be on some retaliate against a white person on a malicious level, you know what I'm saying? Just speaking on, how it is, like if my heart chakra wasn't balanced, but if my heart chakra was balanced, then it would be do what you gotta do with love, you know what I'm saying? It'll be like different messages, and I realized like depending, just like a radio, depending on, your chakras is almost like turning the knobs. Think of your chakras is like turning different knobs, like a little equalizer on a mixing and mastering board, where you turn it certain unique levels on each chakra, and you channel energy on that certain station or whatever. So the same thing like with ancestors, where ancestor asks you, because again, we are vibrational beings on a human experience. We're not a human on a vibrational experience. So when these ancestors may, you'll tell when there's some type of thing of old unfinished business, you know what I'm saying? Like we're done with again, we're in the now. Don't forget that we're in the now. We're not in the past, so we're not here to be constantly just doing things for our ancestors from the past, or trying to do things that they didn't finish, or like your past life. Like say for instance, I always kind of speak on how like my past life as a wizard, but like when I was a dark wizard or whatever, sometimes that vibration comes to try to take over my body in this life. You know what I'm saying? Why I get over magical, and then I get a little cold towards people, which I saw that too about for one, just a Capricorn, that's the negative side, like where we could be numb to people, like it's like matter of fact, that devil card, and that's what I'm saying, from the tarot card. But what I was gonna say, see going adding them little extra bits of information. But what I was speaking on ancestors. Oh, the past life as a wizard, and how that past life almost, came to matter of fact, when I was living in San Bernardino, and when I was in Baton Rouge, I could say. And then as I was learning more, because it's the thing, when you're not knowing what's going on, you could think, oh yeah, I'm just growing spiritually. Like say for instance, I could just think like, oh, I'm growing spiritually so much so that I'm turning into a wizard, you know what I'm saying? That's very obligated to doing some, alchemy and stuff, until you realize like, wait, this old past, like, 'cause then you realize, wait, I'm doing, I'm into this stuff, but I'm doing this in a manner where I'm not advancing on things that I truly love in this world, and you kind of know it's like, all right, maybe I'm, some other type of vibration is in me, and trying to get me to work on some old past stuff, like, Like say for instance, like just any type of dysfunctional, unfinished business, you just gotta be careful. Like say for instance, an ancestor haunting a house, like this is my house. I did this in this house and did that. And see the definition of the Mayat scale. The heart has to weigh lighter than the feather. So all those ghosts that's still stuck on the physical realm, that may be just different ghosts. But too, like when ancestors stuck on the physical realm, that's because their heart weighed a little heavier than that feather, and their vibration didn't even allow. It ain't about like some judgment, like, all right, let me decide on if you should go up or not. Let me look at you. It's an algorithm. If your vibration is a little too heavy, you just cannot go up. You know what I'm saying? Like it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? There ain't no again, that they personified it in a little kindergarten manner for us to kind of get the picture. But it's basically an algorithm. If your heart weighs heavier than that feather, bloop, you stand in a heavy place. What's the heavy metal? Lead. The heavy metal of Saturn. Saturn is what the government, all these people worship to keep you boxed in this matrix. So, your heart gonna weigh like that lead if you believe that you are a part of this lead and Saturn vibration and Saturn matrix. You know what I'm saying? And you will become a part of it. But again, be careful with the ancestors reaching out for this unfinished business or dysfunctional. Like say for instance, where, all right, say for instance, you could channel. We know that, of course, you want to be proactive and not on no fight manner, because we all know the government and the white supremacist situation. They want that fight, that physical battle, because that's on their playing field. Just like a demon and angels. As a demon, I'm like trying to pull you into that lower vibration so I can have home field advantage. You know what I'm saying? While on the other side, as a angel, a light being, I'm gonna stay in my light place and let you try to come up here, so I can have my home field advantage. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you gotta pay attention to. Like I tell the brethren, a lot of brethren want to see more action, but that's that old male masculine logic, and also somewhat taught it. Like that white supremacy male logic trickle down into the to the quote unquote black male, so to speak. So a lot of males feel like it gotta be like we gotta, like, nah, you know what I'm saying? We just have to honestly just fix what we have to fix, and the rest will fall into place. But what I was gonna speak on, you could come across that dysfunctional vibration, the ancestors, that's like, oh man, the white man did us that. The white man did us that. The white man did us that. Like crying and complaining and no actions. And matter of fact, and giving more power to that person, who's oppressing you. You giving more power to them by, focusing on them and speaking their name. You know what I'm saying? While they just sitting back and, like, you ever notice like you get energy, like if you ever walk through somewhere and you can feel people watching you, but all of a sudden you kind of just laugh and smiling. Reason why you're laughing and smiling when people just staring at you and looking at you, because they're giving you energy, and you start laughing and smiling because it gets so overwhelming. It's like, like y'all looking at me, like, ooh, like you getting the energy surge, literally. You know what I'm saying? So just think of that. Like, do you want the people who you're trying to get out of office, the people who you're trying to get out of place, do you want them to feel like, ooh, I got an energy surge right quick? Do you want them to have that? Oh yeah. Or do you want yourself to have an energy surge? Do you want to focus on your chakras, or your, or your youth, your little kids? Focus on your little kids moving in the right directions, eating healthier than you did and making better decisions than you did, and not having to go through the school system like we did and all this. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what the real, quote unquote battle or fighting at in one of the places, because it's all over the place. Of course it takes that strenuous, I tell people, not as far as like starting a fight, but it does take that kind of just stand up for yourself, physical nature as well, you know what I'm saying, and not laying down, because again, they try to promote they try to promote the over masculinity of the female, and they try to promote the feminine vibration in the masculine or into the male. You know what I'm saying? That's what a lot of these spiritual practices, you know, do. And which I was watching myself the whole time and realizing, like, you know, like, yeah, I think, you know, the spiritual practice of the too humble, like, it's kind of, to a certain extent, of course, is about, you know, you want to be peaceful and, you know, be one with source, but don't forget being one with source. Source fuck up some things right quick. It's, excuse my diction, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, as above, so below is just as much as source is peaceful, you know, is also the chaos as well, you know what I'm saying? So you see though how they try to create that quiet, like, you know, just sit down and meditate type of vibe, you know, into the masculine vibe, you know, to make us more peaceful and quiet, you know. And what's funny, like, people who don't know me, you know, you see me and I'm like, peace, you know, like love, you know, this and that. But then you come across a few of my videos and you're like, ooh, like, he was fiery, he has some passion in there, you know. It's like, yeah, you know, like, and two, this is a chess game. Because also, matter of fact, I just got to bring this up, even though this not a part of this video, like, which I will do a video on this, but they then started, the government, the FBI, and then started trying to identify people as black extremists and stuff like that now. Yeah, like, and they basically arrested their first black extremists and even giving it a name. That's all they do is try to give things identity. Oh, this is ISIS, or this is the Taliban, or this is the black extremist organization, BIE, or something, you know what I'm saying? Like, so they could be on the news. The BIE, today in the news, the BIE, like, that's how they gonna play those old stupid messed up games. So y'all stay aware of that type of stuff. And back to the point of reason why I carry myself a certain way in life and on my YouTube channel, because I'm gonna just be honest, like, I got readings from Tupac and Bob Marley and a few brethren who came before me who may not have transitioned on their own will, and was like, be careful out here, Universal. Because as much as your brethren claim to be behind you and stuff like this, you'll mess around and, you know, transition in vain to a certain extent, no matter how much faith you got in your brethren and sisters. So, you know, you just got to be aware of the reality of the situation, you know, and play the chess game. So too, when a lot of people sit back and, like, you know, wondering why certain people don't stand up or stand up stronger, well, for one, look at yourself, because most of the time when you're saying that, you probably not standing up as strong as you want the next person to stand. But, you know, think about that. Like, it's a chess game. I mean, well, it's a game where, you know, you putting yourself out there in a certain manner, you know what I'm saying, could get you in certain dealings with people that you might not want to deal with, in that sense, you know what I'm saying. But that's why I like with my channel, I make sure, you know, it's delivering this information upfront manner, but not creating, you know, knowing that the government is looking for any way to turn somebody into some type of extremist or something like that. So, I mean, I have to be aware of that. I have to be aware that, you know, Obama signed a little letter for people to be able to get blackballed just for speaking on 9/11 being an inside job that makes you a terrorist. You know, and he signed the thing not only for us, well, he signed some stuff for us to be able to turn people back into like an indentured servant or like a slave. I forgot what that calls it. I got it. I think I posted it a while back. And then also with I call it like the black bagging situation, where, you know, if they feel you a threat or a terrorist or something, they don't even have to, like, oh, hey, family of so-and-so, we coming to pick him up because of this. Like, no, you just, like, missing one day and your family and everybody wondering what happened, and, you know. And I'm not talking about this to fear among, I'm speaking on this just to be, you know, a reality, you know. Again, you gotta have that balance of awareness and and fearlessness, you know what I'm saying? You gotta know that there's a beast over there, but at the same time, you gotta not be scared of that beast and know that beast bite very hard as well. You know, you gotta, in order to beat the beast, you gotta know what it does, you know, and not focus on it on a level to scare yourself, but just to know, like, all right, that beast has electrical current shooting out its tail. That beast has a strong bite. that beast has telepathy, or you know what I'm saying? So all right, boom, let me wear my telepathy block. Let me watch out for the electricity. Let me do it. You know what I'm saying? Not being scared, being aware, so I can prepare to battle this beast. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, though, went from you see, little gems. This is about staying away from the dysfunction of ancestors and past lives, but because I love y'all, man. I love just sprinkling all that information all on top of each other, just sprinkle it. But definitely again, be aware and be careful. You want to ask to connect, and when you're connecting with ancestors, you don't just say all ancestors. No, because all ancestors could be Uncle so-and-so that was just off the meter and raped and killed people, and he just wasn't right. May have not been his fault, but he just wasn't right. And you calling upon him to deal with some divine work. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, you better be like, either say some names or be like all the divine ancestors, or like when you're trying to get answers, all divine truthful beings. I only want to connect with high vibrational divine truthful beings. And also specifically when you're speaking on high vibrations, because guess what, there are dark beings that vibrate higher than us. So when you just like all high vibrations, or all vibrations higher than me, all right, so you mean which one of us, the light or the dark? We both here, you know what I'm saying? Like, so you got to be careful, like you get more specific on when you're contacting spirit. Like that is very key, is being careful with this situation, because from firsthand, like that's another thing, like I've been experimenting firsthand with a lot of these energies from taking the mushrooms, doing that super moon, and feeling like how real, like portals was really open. Like I could have, if I wasn't strong enough and not aware, like something could have happened. Like literally, like the energies was that strong. Like one little small fault in my vibration, I could have, easily got into something with somebody because some demon was in their body trying to provoke a fight or something like that. Like, But it's just definitely that experimentation of the situation. But just definitely want to be careful with contacting certain beings and being specific, with the ancestors. And when you're doing past life regression, just try, making sure that past life don't come and try to take control of this life. And, basically like, oh, I got a second chance to make this, like I'm thinking from my wizard's standpoint, I got a second chance to make this serum or whatever, this alchemy serum that could do this or that, you know what I'm saying, that I didn't get, that I spent most of my life in a lab trying to create, you know what I'm saying, like, that actual lifetime, that actual, soul fragmentation in your DNA and in your being, could actually try to come back and take over your physical body right now, so definitely want to be careful of that, But I think that's about it. And again, I guess talking a little bit too on the black extremist situation, y'all. I mean, if you don't know and don't realize it, like it is spiritual warfare, man. Like it's not no cakewalk. Of course, you know what I'm saying. We being optimistic, and we want the the righteous outcome, and we want to remain high vibrational. But we also got to be aware that, man, we do have to, pay attention to these things and make sure we doing what we got to do and speaking on what we got to speak on to make sure these things don't just get pushed on us, But like, again, with this black extremist thing, which all of us saw it coming, because even now, again, the chess game where, like watching the way you word things on YouTube, like, it's a reason why I'm not, because for one, of course, knowing that I am a vibration on a human experience, and I don't want to get too tied in my ego, so I'm not going to completely resonate with being a human on any level. So that means being a human or a black person or this and that. I recognize myself as my bodysuit being a melanated bodysuit. And right now in this matrix, the melanated bodysuits are being discriminated against, So that's the task at hand, you know what I'm saying? So on that level, I deal with it. But my only feeling of being is, if anything, if I'm close to any being, I would be a Lyran. You know what I'm saying? But I don't consider myself like, I consider myself a vibration on a human experience, and I hold true to that from my own experiences. We all have different experiences. Some of us haven't been deep enough down the rabbit hole to perceive ourselves as one with source or to be source. Like, I done been deep enough down the rabbit hole to where I could imagine that none of y'all are real and that I'm by myself as God. That's not on no arrogant by myself as God. It's like I actually got a chance to have that perspective and saw like why things were created in that sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you are conscious by yourself, eternally, you know what I'm saying, you would create something, whether it has some chaos that come with it or not. It's like, bro, I'm tired of being by myself. But again, some of us don't even perceive, like the furthest some of us could perceive is being a black person in America. Furthest some of us could perceive is being a being in Egypt. Furthest some of us could perceive is being a being from Lemuria, Atlantis. Some of us could perceive way further than that, being the demiurge or whatever. But it's different strokes for different folks. But again, I digress. Matter of fact, peace. And just don't, it's a chess game. Of course, we want to stand up and not bow down to these entities, but you also want to be smart, because what good does it serve if, if they, if you're not around to help the situation, due to being locked up or being transitioned, Now, I put an asterisk by that where, of course, nothing is a mistake. And, some of us, in essence, like, where some people transition and may spark a fight in other people, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to say like, oh, that's what we need or that's what has to happen for us to stand up, like somebody has to transition. I was gonna say I hope not, but I ain't gonna say I hope. I'm gonna be optimistic in knowing that shouldn't have to happen, you know what I'm saying? But again, just being aware, because they're gonna start trying this foolishness, So if I gotta appeal to everybody so I don't seem like a black extremist, because I've been knowing they've been trying to label people as that. That's the thing. So while people in the comments about, oh man, you have to be stronger and this and that, black people, it's like, of course we're trying to help the melanated people to remember who they are and to stop the oppression. But it's funny is the reason why those people are in my comments like but they don't have a YouTube channel with that platform, screaming at the top of the lungs, because they're not crazy. It's a definite chess game. It's a reason why the brethren Tupac transitioned quickly. He kamikaze. Kamikaze is like that little suicide mission. He like came in there like it was like, ooh, man, he just come through here. They're like, oh no, we gotta pull a plug. Broad day, not broad daylight, but in the middle of Las Vegas. When there's cold cases being solved of somebody being murdered 15 years ago, when they only found their shoe in a desert somewhere in a forest, and they found their killers, but they can't find nobody killer who got shot in the middle of everybody, nothing but witnesses and stuff like that, and they can't find a killer. They can't cold case that one. And then now they making a special on USA or one of these channels on cable TV about finding Big and Pac murderer. It's like, and again, this is a balance, because of course it's playing with your psyche. They're hitting your heartstrings, because we all want that justice, But that show is not gonna, expose who did it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they want that exposing that would be on the news or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So that show is made in that area to tug on your heartstrings and to get you to watch something while they doing something else somewhere else. You know, they trying to have you heavy into this little show, you know, and just off into, you know, speculation and your logic, you know. Anything that just causes you to just like be too much into your logic. Like when we say question things, it doesn't mean sit around and just question everything all at once, all day, every day. But it's more of just like when you come across certain information, question it. You know, not sitting down questioning things like, oh, let me question this, let me question that. You're locking yourself in logic, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, with, like I said, a little TV show just to play on people's brain and stuff like that. And then you using a situation that tug on your heartstrings to get you to watch it. Matter of fact, now I'm out. Mixture of all kind of information. Peace. Happy now, of course. Now's the vibrates. We're not going too far in the future. Not going too far in the past. Right now. These beautiful palm trees.